Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. Today we're going to do an unboxing that's a bit late, of the latest Advanced Squad Leader Core module, Twilight of the Reich. And that is actually why I picked this up, because it is a core module, and although it kind of looks and sounds like a historical module or historical study or whatever, it is a core module for ASL. It does some late war stuff. There's some interesting things in here that I'm probably not going to get to in this unboxing. In the meantime, however, let's take a look at what's in the box. This did come from my good friends at Noble Knight. I did buy it. They did not comp it to me, but FYI on that. And I got a price on it that was a little bit less than MMP's MSRP, as I recall. It's in the 3-inch multi-man publishing box, which is the case for many, but not all of the ASL modules. Had we put this in the 2-inch box or 1.5-inch box, it would have filled the entire box. So, first of all, we get the traditional MMP contents card. So Twilight of the Reich should contain 1 box and a lid. No kidding. 4 maps, and I think there are special maps. We'll take a look in a second. 9 sheets of overlays, 2 counter sheets, 17 scenarios, replacement rulebook pages, and 3 off-board gun displays for specific scenarios that are included. So there's a bunch of stuff here that I'm throwing all over the place. These are those off-board cards. I've never seen them do anything like this before. That's not a problem. I've just never seen it before. And again, these are for specific scenarios. They fell all over the place. We've got some replacement rulebook pages, which include chapters A and B, and it looks like that's it. Quite a few replacement rulebook pages. We're going to have some counter sheets and some maps. And these are, I'm not sure what the ASL folks call these maps, to be completely honest, but I'm going to call them portrait maps, I guess, because they're oriented in a different way than the regular standard ASL maps. And we're going to get 4 of them in here. Can always use more of this style map. And these are fully geomorphic, and you can combine them with the regular maps if you want. And of course, we'll do the scenario. So we'll do the scenario. There's a lot of scenario material in here. Holy cow. Okay, so we'll do that last. In the meantime, let's look at the maps. And of course, again, these are 4 double-sided maps. So we've got 16A, which is obviously heavily urbanized. 16B, which is also heavily urbanized. Are they the same? They look the same. I have to study them in detail, but off the top of my head, they look identical. I'm not sure how we're supposed to use that. Somebody will tell me in the comments. Here's 17A, a lot of huge buildings here. 17B, the same huge buildings. Here is 18A, sort of an urban area with a big park in the middle. Same deal on the back. So they're double-sided. I'm not sure what's going on with the double-sided, where they're the same. Maybe there's differences, and I'm just not seeing them at a glance. That's possible. But they're all pretty urban boards, as you can imagine, given the point that this is about 1945 Berlin. So, or at least very late war, World War II. So all this stuff is going into the back in the box. Let's keep these out for a second. Put the rulebook pages back, and I'm not going to go through this. It would take more time than I have to go through that. We get a bunch more overlays. So we got some city overlays, some railroad overlays. Here's a giant cemetery. Some more railroad stuff. Another differently shaped giant cemetery. Here's a rail station. That's pretty cool. And this is actually one of the reasons I picked this up, because the rules for the rail stations and things like that. Here's like a little town type thing with a walled-in area. I'm not sure what's going on there. Whole bunch of rail interchanges. Some more big buildings. Some more railroads. A humongous building. And some more railroads. So a lot of this is the overlays, at least, is rail oriented. So back in the box for that. We do get 2 counter sheets, and we do have some symbols on here that I'm not super familiar with. We've got these Soviet units with the hammer and sickle on them. Not 100% sure why, unless they're intended to be something specific. But what I didn't get in here was a new unit capabilities chart that would tell me if they're different. We do have both half-inch counters and 5/8-inch counters in here. Interestingly, we've also got some Americans and some British. These are probably just errata counters. And looks like some Allied or Axis miners here as well. Looking like Axis miners. So it looks like this isn't specifically tied to Berlin as such. Yeah, so it's not just Berlin, it's late war in general. So that's why we've got some Axis miner stuff in here. And of course, a whole bunch of Germans, which look like pretty standard Germans at a glance, at least. Hey, can always use more counters, right? And then a huge pile of both scenarios and play aids. These are not all scenarios. So let's just go through the scenarios. Last train to Leningrad. MGA Russia, September 1941. Well, this is not late war at all, is it? This is scenario 290. 291 is Bridge over the River Queen, 1942. There is some stuff about some early war scenarios on the back. And then Last Train to Leningrad has a second page. 4 Stars of Valor, 1944, the Netherlands, okay, with Germans versus Allies. We've got some second pages on that. We've got some Americans and British here, so that's why those are in here. Not like we don't have those counters. Death Solves All Problems, January 1945 in Hungary. Here's the special guest appearance by Satine, who is being a giant pain in the ass at this exact moment. Death Solves All Problems. There's a lot of 2-page scenarios here. Can't you see I'm busy here, you beast? There you go, beast. Come on. All right. Back of that, we get No Man, No Problem, Hungary, 1945. And once again, it's a 2-pager. This scenario, which was designed by Bill Cirillo and Sean Deller, is dedicated to the memory of Corporal John Madison Murphy, World War II veteran. Okay. And he passed in 2019. So very interesting. Death Box. Lots of 2-page scenarios here. I feel like these are on a thicker material than they used to be. Second page of that. Damnation Game. Second page of that. Reaching the Devil's Playground, January 1945. Damnation Game is, again, in Hungary, 1945. So is this. Back of that, we get the other half of Damnation Game. Yeah, just organizing all this scenario material is going to take a lot of time. I'm homing in on the idea that in 2025 I'm going to have a big project to organize all the ASL stuff, which is a giant project. I've got more at this point than 2 3-inch boxes full of unpunched, unrounded ASL counters. The Dead and the Dying, Hungary, 1945. So surprisingly little of this is in Berlin at this point. Budapest, Hungary, 1945. Rails to Perdition. We've got some Hungarians and some Germans here. Here's the other half of that, which looks like we've got Romanians and Soviets, which ASL continues to consistently call Russians. Nor will Deep Hell receive them. Where's the other half of that? That's this one. Once again, Hungary, 1945. Here is Heilbronn, Germany, April 1945. So pretty damn close to the end of the war here. St. Kilian's Bloody Sword. That's the rest of this. On the back of that, A Vast Hellish Ruin, Heilbronn, Germany, April 1945. And there's the back of that. These are Americans in Germany. La Mort de Charlemagne, Berlin, 26 April 1945. Here's the other half of that. This might even be 3 pages. It's not. No Brothers, No Friends. We have a huge number of extra material in these things. They're just really gigantic. No Brothers, No Friends. Once again, Berlin, 1945. The Rat House, Berlin, 1945. It's going to be Soviets and Germans. Come on, piece of that. Almost all of these, if not all of them, are 2-card scenarios. No Brothers, No Friends, at least. This is 4 cards, actually. Okay. Here's Roads to Perdition, 306. This is Prague, 1945, May 1945. Very interesting. Looks like we've got some Czechs and some Germans on this one. Roads to Perdition, other side of the card. So tons of scenario content here. One of the ways I get tempted to pick up a random ASL product, because I'm not buying absolutely everything, because I don't feel I can. I'm definitely not buying any third-party stuff. Not to say that some of the third-party stuff's not good. That would be incorrect. But I will say that I have elected, just to save my own sanity, to not buy any third-party ASL stuff. That doesn't mean I'm not willing to play it, but I got to play regular ASL first. So Twilight of the Reich, there's a little more scope in here than I thought there was. I kind of felt like this was going to be all Berlin 45 stuff in the form of a historical module, and that's not really what it is. Instead, we have a whole bunch of late war stuff and even a couple of early war scenarios on these new urban boards. So, cool looking product. This, again, completes since receiving Doomed Battalions not long ago. You should have already seen an unboxing video for the 4th edition of that. This does update me on all of the ASL core modules at this point. So, it's good to do. Good to know. Once again, a goal for 2025 is to play more ASL and organize the ASL.
Massive thanks to the patrons of Ardwulf's Lair, whose support and encouragement make what we do at Ardwulf's Lair possible. Thank you, patrons. Links to help support the channel are in the video description, so check out the Patreon, the Ko-Fi, and the merch store, where you can get snazzy Ardwulf's Lair t-shirts, drinking vessels, and other cool swag. There is also an affiliate link for Noble Knight Games in the video description. If you buy stuff through that affiliate link, it helps to support the channel with Noble Knight store credit. Thank you, Noble Knight. Until next time, thanks for watching, and happy gaming.